In July 1844, Qing's Daoguang Emperor gave imperial edicts to U.S. 10th President John Taylor. It reads as follows: By the mandate of heaven and from the imperial edict, His Majesty of Great Qing Emperor expresses his regards to U.S. President. I, the Emperor, with the mercy and order from heaven, as a ruler of China, that all my people have been well treated, both home and abroad. At the beginning of this spring, your ambassador Cushing came to China by your order, and arrived at our Canton province after crossing the oceans and suffering from tremendous hardships. I, the Emperor, cannot bear his long and hard treks once again, so he was free from the paying homage at Beijing. Especially for this, my imperial envoy, the noble Qing, was sent to show him the favor and discuss all the concerned issues. Later on, my envoy presented me with your credentials, which full of eager devotion, sincerity, and passion. After reading that, I was deeply moved with pleasure. In consideration, I, the Emperor, believe that all the trade articles mentioned were complete and in great details, which should be followed accordingly. As to all other areas such as Guangzhou, Xiamen, Ningbo, and Shanghai, Americans are free to go and do business by the treaty, for peace of long reign and for the benefits of both. I, the Emperor, believe that the President will also be happy about this agreement, and His Majesty hereby announces. After the Sino-British Opium War and the Nanjing Treaty, the U.S. Congress immediately discussed how to share the interests. On December 30, 1842, U.S. President Taylor mentioned in his State Union the importance of China's open the 5 trade pores and suggested for China Treaty negotiation. On February 21, 1843, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the bill by 96-59 with appropriation of $40,000 to the China mission. In May 1843, President Taylor and State Secretary Webster found their best candidates, and Caleb Cushing. Cushing was born in a cargo merchant family in Massachusetts and graduated from Harvard University. He worked as a lawyer and later joined the Democratic Party and was a member of U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Commission. Cushing had been regarded as elegant and well-educated, a smart lawyer and an honest man. Before he came to China, he paid much attention to the issue and collected lots of information about China. Before their leaving, State Secretary Webster gave Cushing a special instruction, emphasizing the importance of the 5 trade ports that China opened recently: the Guangzhou, Xiamen, Ningbo, Shanghai, and Fuzhou, which were all located in the rich provinces of China. Your mission is to guarantee the safety of the American cargoes into these harbors and enjoy the same privileges as the British. You should make the Chinese believe that you are a peace messenger from the greatest country in America to the greatest country in Asia. America has no ill intention to China and should be trusted. In the summer of 1843, Cushing set off to China by U.S. battleship Missouri. Originally, he planned to meet U.S. fleet in Bombay, India. Yet after crossing the Atlantic, the battleship Missouri caught on fire and he had to change to British ship to India. Then took another U.S. warship, Brandywine. The fire accident of the Cushing turned to be a laughing stock to the British, and who believed his mission would be fruitless, and even some Americans doubted the outcome of Cushing's China mission. In February 1844, Cushing arrived at Macau and sent a letter to the Governor General for permission to Beijing. And Chinese government was not sure about his mission and might be another troublemaker like the British. On April 13, 1844, Cushing told China that he would make a friendly visit to Canton harbor with his fleet and showing his force. He said, based on tradition, if a messenger didn't get well treated, which means disrespect and challenge, unlike the British, America would not seek for grabbing land or money except for business. If this effort failed, more U.S. warships would come to China. On June 17, 1844, Qing government appointed Qing to talk with Cushing. During the negotiation, U.S. warship Brandywine arrived at Canton, and an American sailor put a copper arrow as a weather cork on a flagpole in the U.S. consulate. Currently, a pandemic disease spread in Canton, and the local people regarded the copper arrow as ominous, so they asked the consulate to take it off. After being refused, they began to throw pebbles to the building for protest, and the U.S. security guards fired to the cross and shot a farmer named Xu Yaman, who was looking on the spot. Americans blamed China for inadequacy in providing protection and asked another U.S. warship, St. Louis, to Canton. Later, both sides agreed a jury was set up by 6 Americans for the trial. By the opinions of the jury, the victim's death was caused by his own folly for being mixed with the mobs in the chaos. Finally, the jury ruled the American soldiers who shot the victim were sent back to America, and Qing agreed. On July 3, 1844, in a Buddha temple named Puji, nearby Wangsha village, Macau, Cushing and Qing signed the first Sino-U.S. Treaty of Wangsha, including 34 articles, much more than 13 articles in the Sino-British Treaty. Americans enjoyed the most favored nation status and extraterritoriality. Besides, U.S. battleship could berth in trade ports, and Americans could build their own churches and tombs. After signing the treaty, China treated the U.S. delegation with grand royal feast for celebration. During the feast, the Cushing presented some artillery models and military books to Qing, saying this stuff might be helpful later, yet Qing refused to take, saying China would ask for help if needed in the future. In November 1844, the U.S. Congress approved the treaty and achieved the same privileges as the British without using force, to which Americans were proud of. Some historians regarded the U.S. diplomacy that following the British as hyena policy. Just like the lion's roars, the hyena grins. The lion's open mouth, hyena picks up bones. From American cargo ships first sailed to China in 1784 to Sino-U.S. Treaty in 1844 till the 6th year passed. And for the first time, Qing government admitted America's equality, and the name of America in Chinese changed to be the United States of America rather than the former name of the new nation or the flower flag country. During the treaty negotiation, the Qing Emperor Daoguang received a letter from President Taylor. The Chinese translator modified with placing words and compliments. The emperor was deeply impressed and overjoyed. He decided to give imperial edict to U.S. President, encouraging his pursuit for righteousness and strengthening his will for civilization. America started from a very small country with few people, and after decades of hard working, turned to be a big power of the West. China, from its glorious Heaven Kingdom, isolated itself from the world, and the arrogance led to its lagging behind and the decline. Battered by the warships, it had to give in and accept the treaty. During the engagement and confrontations between the East and the West, and act the cross of imperial ups and downs, a good policymaker should have the capacity to find its own shortcomings, the courage to see its own issue, and the wisdom to learn from the others. After the Sino-U.S. Treaty, America still continued to boast and prosper, yet China suffered a second Opium War, though with ephemeral revival, the decayed Qing government finally doomed. About more stories in Sino-U.S. engagement, we will talk in future programs. And thank you for your watching, and see you next time.